All right, if you ever looked at the clock and thought, oh, what's for dinner? I'm your girl. I think that all the time. In fact, I even actually wrote the book on it. This is my book of quick and dirty and easy weeknight meals. So all of my favorite foods, but approachable for an actual weeknight when your hair is on fire and you've got a million things to do. So what are we making tonight? Tonight we're doing my lazy lasagna. Now, if you know anything about lasagna, you know that it is a labor of love. If someone makes a lasagna for you, they love you. It is literally layers of love, but that is not approachable for a weeknight. So I thought this was brilliant. I found a shortcut to make this doable on a weeknight, and that secret ingredient is frozen raviolis. So one of the things that I find kind of annoying about lasagna is that you put it in a pan, you have to boil the pasta noodles, then you gotta hang them out to dry. I just don't have time for that. So what we're doing with the frozen ravioli is we don't have to worry about boiling our pasta noodle, and we are getting the ricotta cheese already built into this little pillow. So it cuts out, that ingredient cuts out two things in one. So all you're gonna need is what you see here, ingredients you probably have on hand, and this is all gonna come together in about a half an hour. So let's do it. All right, let's do this. First, we're gonna start with our ground beef, and we're gonna get that in the pan. Over here, just a little bit of olive oil, like so many of my recipes. It starts with a little good olive oil in your pan. Crank up the heat. So in the pan it goes. And remember, fat is flavor, so don't be afraid. So I'm just gonna break that up a little bit. But we're gonna be efficient. So while this is cooking, we're gonna work on the other stuff. All right, so that's gonna brown. Then we're gonna come over here, grab a large mixing bowl. So 1 cup of fresh spinach. So I got this lasagna recipe from my dad. My dad is the lasagna guy. My dad is all Italian all day. And our original lasagna recipe called for spinach. I know a lot of people don't put that in, but it adds a nice freshness and a nice color. But my dad always used frozen, which you absolutely can too. Just thaw it out and throw it in. But I tend to have fresh spinach on hand a lot because my daughter will actually eat spinach, like a spinach salad or just like spinach in a skillet like that with a little olive oil. So I tend to have it around. And when you can do it, I think fresh is always best. And don't come for me for my knife skills. I'm not a professional. I'm just a girl making dinner. All right, so spinach in the bowl. Next, we're gonna do some Italian panko breadcrumbs, 2/3 of a cup. Just gonna help bind everything together. Now again, this is how I would do my normal lasagna, 3 eggs. Again, another binding agent. Pretty standard for any lasagna. I can't wait to show you what makes this the lazy lasagna and makes it doable for a weeknight. Also, and this is an important step, is 1 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Do you have to freshly grate it? No, of course not. You can just buy some that's already pre-grated. Please don't use the stuff in the green can though. That is absolutely not. But you can get some freshly grated Parmesan cheese. I would prefer, we all would prefer, if you could grate it yourself, okay? Takes an extra step, and I understand you may not have time for that. So I'll approve. But if you can do it, a cup of freshly grated Parmesan. Now it's getting Italian in here. Let's check on this. It's browning up nicely. I'm gonna add a little salt and pepper right now because it's almost done. I like to keep my salt and pepper out like this so it's easily accessible because you cannot forget the little guys. The salt and pepper is the key to all of our meals. Don't be afraid. I think people are afraid of salt, and that's where the flavor is, the salt and the fat. All right, so this is looking good. I'm gonna turn that down because I don't wanna overdo it. But I also wanna get back to this. Let me grab a spoon. Okay, am I missing anything? So in the large mixing bowl, Parmesan cheese, breadcrumbs, spinach, and egg. All right, so we're gonna give that a good spin. All right. So we're gonna add this to our ground beef mixture in just a minute. But first, I'm gonna take the ground beef off the heat, and I'm gonna add in a cup of marinara sauce. So, if you have your own homemade marinara sauce, brownie points. I have a great Monday marinara sauce in my cookbook. I also have a Sunday sauce in my cookbook. I like to jar it and put it away. In my family, we call this money in the bank. If you made a big pot of sauce on a Sunday and you put it away, you can make countless other meals with it throughout the week. But I understand not all of you are making spaghetti sauce on a Sunday, so go buy your favorite jarred sauce. Go do it. It's fine. It's fine. And then we're gonna add a cup of it to this, to the meat mixture, okay? So just a basic marinara sauce is all we need. We're gonna add that to the ground beef. And we're just starting to layer these flavors, okay? And there is some grease in the pan here because the ground beef created some. And I'm just gonna leave it in there. Because like I said, that's where the flavor is. All right, now we're gonna marry the two, and we're almost there. Okay, so we're gonna take our cheese, spinach, egg mixture and then combine it with the ground beef. And then we're almost there. This thing comes together so fast compared to a typical lasagna. So with a typical lasagna, we'd be boiling lasagna noodles, we'd be hanging them out to dry. Inevitably, I would break some, and it just like, more pots, more pans, more headache. And we're gonna skip all that with my secret ingredient. But first we gotta get this. So we're gonna mix these two together. So the reason I took the ground beef off the heat too was just to cool it down a little bit because we have egg in here and I don't wanna scramble the egg. So I put the sauce in there, which kind of cooled it off, and I took it off the heat. So now, this is starting to look like a lasagna. The insides of a lasagna, right? And so far, this is pretty much exactly how my family always made it. Only now we would be layering it with the fresh pasta lasagna noodle. And by the way, Dad, don't get mad. He gets so mad when people call pasta or macaroni noodles. Like, it gets him so mad. But the only time I think it's okay, and I feel the same way. I don't get as mad, but you know. The only time I think it's okay is with lasagna. You can't say lasagna pasta, you have to say a lasagna noodle. You know what I mean? But I would never call fettuccine a noodle. That's a no-no. I'd never call spaghetti a noodle, but a lasagna noodle feels like a noodle, so, okay. Sorry for that TED Talk. All right, so here's our mixture. And now we're gonna layer it. We're there. We're like halfway to dinner. But here's the secret, okay? Ta-da! Frozen ravioli. By the way, I am not being sponsored by Mama Rosie, but I'm not opposed. All right, so this is it. The jumbo frozen ravioli. And you may not think this will work. It works. It works. It's so good. So what we're gonna do with our jumbo frozen ravioli is layer in the pan. But just like lasagna, do not forget to do a thin layer of tomato sauce in the bottom. Let me repeat that for the cheap seats. Do not forget to put a layer of marinara sauce on the bottom because it will stick and it will ruin your beautiful lasagna, whether it's a lazy lasagna or a regular lasagna. It's happened before and it's happened to the pros. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Make sure every little spot is covered, okay? Very important step. I like how I'm on my tippy toes because I feel like I can get to you. I'm very short. All right, so thin layer of our marinara sauce, and now we're gonna layer 12 into this dish here. And I worked it out perfectly. So you can do 12 on the bottom, and then we're gonna do another layer of 12. So it's gonna be ravioli, meat, sauce, cheese, ravioli, meat, sauce, cheese, boom, dinner. Okay, next step, ravioli. So then you're gonna cut this kind of in half, sort of eyeball it. I just put an invisible line down the middle. Super accurate. And then we're just gonna layer that in, layer that on top. This just saves us so much time, and it saves us the extra pot for boiling the lasagna and hanging it out. And by the way, this is Tom Sansone approved. So my dad, the king of lasagna, has eaten this now many, many times, and he says you can't even tell the difference. I mean, flavor-wise, it's a little bit of a different texture, of course, and the layers are a little bit different, but taste-wise, it is spot on. So, all right, so we've got our meat mixture. I like my lasagna super saucy, so I'm gonna do a whole nother cup of the marinara sauce on top of here. And then you're gonna layer mozzarella cheese. So you can just ask at the deli counter for 12 slices, that's how many we're gonna use, 12 slices of mozzarella cheese, sliced on the thicker side, not super thick, just kind of a nice little sandwich slice. I made the mistake of just saying mozzarella cheese in the cookbook, and one time someone interpreted that as fresh mozzarella cheese, which wouldn't be bad, but fresh mozzarella is not gonna give you the melt. It's not gonna give you the cheese pull. It's not gonna give you that like traditional lasagna vibe that we're going for. So stick with just the deli counter cheese for this. Okay, so we've got that. 2, 4, 6, yeah, my math is right. Shocking. And then we're gonna do it all again. So look at that. This is heavy too. There's a lot going on here. This is gonna feed a lot of people. So the oven has been preheating to 350. So we're gonna pop that in. I'm gonna cover it with aluminum foil for the first 30 minutes. Kind of tent it because the cheese will wanna stick to that and that would be such a shame. So kind of tent it a little bit. And in the oven it goes for 30 minutes. Then for the last 10, we're gonna take the aluminum foil off and get a nice bubbly brown to our cheese. It's gonna be so good. Into the oven. Here she goes. All right, let's see how she's looking. It's been under the broiler for about 10 minutes. I took the foil off. Oh my God. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. I mean, that's perfect. Oh, see how that cheese is bubbling? It's so crispy, not too burnt. We got it. It's nice and bubbly in here, so we know everything is cooked through. We know that that ravioli is cooked. Now we're gonna let this cool before we cut it. Don't even dream of cutting into this right now. It'll be a sloppy mess. So we're gonna let this cool off, go do other things, put a load of laundry in, scroll on TikTok, I don't care, but don't cut into this. It's a thing of beauty. I am so proud of this. This came out so great, and it will come out like this every single time. So remember, we used 12 raviolis on the bottom, so I like to think about it in terms of 12 slices also when I'm slicing it. So just get right into it. We let it cool, remember? Otherwise it'll be very difficult to cut into. Even still, it's a little hot, but we're hungry, so. All right, You ready for this gorgeousness?
See it?
I don't know if it's gonna come out and go. Feel the layers. That ravioli is cooked perfectly. Plate it up. You can always add a little more sauce to the top. I don't think we need it because we'd put a lot of sauce in there, but I am gonna add just a little bit more freshly grated Parmesan cheese. And this is a feast. This is like a Christmas dinner on a weeknight. Let's get into it. See those layers there? You've got your meat mixture, you've got the spinach, the cheese is very stretchy. That hits. That hits right. Oh my God, this is so good. All the flavors of the lasagna that takes hours to make in a fraction of the time on a weeknight. We nailed this. You've got to try it. You've got to try it. Try it. It's so good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you. Be sure to subscribe and follow for more. I'm going to be cooking my way through my entire cookbook. Oh shit, what's for dinner? And I would love for you to join me. We'll do it together.